let's talk about certain states are actually getting a stimulus check.
Yeah, I saw that a couple weeks ago.
Again?
It's they're getting it, certain ones. It's from what I saw, $250, depending on where you are, up to 1,500. Now they're trying to offset the inflation.
Okay, because inflation is crazy right now. So I'm not gonna. I mean, but I feel like. I mean, I'm not an economist or anything, but I do feel like that all of these stimulus packages and checks is a stopgap, and it is actually going to long term make the situation worse, not better.
Well, I know that Ohio, I haven't seen anything for Ohio. The governors are actually pretty much how they're doing, like with the Roe versus Wade thing per state.
Yeah.
That's what's happening with the stimulus. And I'm sure it's going to make things worse because that's where we are probably now. That's why it's the way that it is. It's like, okay, and then next year we'll see what do we have to pay back. And we can't even afford food right now.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
All right. I can't afford meat no more.
Listen,
that's probably why I said that. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna just drink. I'm not gonna eat all the food. Let me try it for a week and see how this works. You know?
But you know what though? It's a shame anytime steak is almost cheaper than chicken.
Well, I told y'all that one cheeseburger plain, y'all know my double cheese plain. Keep talking about it. It's $7 now. I said, I'm going to go to the grocery store. So I go to the grocery store. I was like, well, I'll just make my own. Get to the grocery store. It's $7.99 a pound.
Yeah.
So everything is going up. And it's like, man, but you're right, Nick. That chicken was about $20. That one. I've had a picture. I think I posted it.
The price. It's crazy.
I was like, there's got to be an error somewhere.
Okay.
I got 3 T-bone steaks a couple weeks ago.
I mean, y'all got it one at a time. What'd you say?
I was gonna say I got 3 T-bone steaks, a pack of 3 T-bone steaks a couple weeks ago. It cost me $10.93, and that's cheap. And the steaks were good. The chicken was like $17 a pack.
Where you picked that up at? That's
right.
The grocery store down the street from me.
Oh, okay. I'm like, was it in the back? And they was like, oh, we forgot to put these out.
Oh no. It's a grocery store down the street from me. Pretty popular in this area.
It looks red or pink.
Yeah.
Oh,
honey, listen. I inspect my packages, and
I believe you because you're the one that said that you could put it. You could freeze bread. Y'all was
I remember that.
Yep. So, because I was checking like this can't be possible. And I was looking at all the different steaks and everything, and then looking at I was like, and then like turkey used to be high. Turkey's not high anymore, but the chicken is like. So it's like a role reversal. What's wrong with the chickens, y'all? What happened?
Yeah, what happened to
why they so high?
I think that it's just like because I feel like back in the day, beef was really the most affordable meat, and that's why beef was like a big part of the American diet. And so now it's just shifting, and I feel like we could even shift again to where like rabbit becomes popular or turtle or some other type of meat. They'll be easier and less expensive to mass produce.
I've heard a lot of people say turtle, frog legs, alligator is good. I'm not eating none of that mess.
You know what? That alligator is kind of expensive. I was at Papados one time, and they was like, try it. It tastes like chicken. Lies. I couldn't even bring myself to even try it. But turtle. Remember I told you about that potluck that God brought some turtle soup.
I was gonna say you never had turtle soup.
No, no, because in my mind I'm looking at a crock pot full of floating turtles in my mind. That's what I see.
Floating turtles. It's just meat. It's meat like any other meat. But that's what I'm predicting. That's what I think will gonna happen. Or deer, because at least in Ohio is overpopulated. There is deer are overrunning our nature areas because they don't have any natural predators. And you know, a lot of hunters are really like shamed for being hunters, but it's actually a very it's a better way of getting meat than getting it from a grocery store. So you might see an increase in venison, which is I think is
Oh,
delicious.
I can't do venison. Ugh.
But yeah, I think there's definitely we're in a period of time where things are shifting, and I feel like chicken is going to become a higher end meat.
Oh shucks, chicken about to be like some lobster. I better give me
Oh,
a chicken coop. Give me a chicken coop, okay? Like that's
that's my plan because I'm going to have me some chicken. Sorry.
all right. Well, let's get to the next topic. Brittney, go ahead, Amber.
So okay, so Brittney Griner just was convicted of having of having illegal substance in Germany, and she was recent, and then she just got her sentence. It was 9 years. And so there's a little bit of an outcry, but I feel like there's a lot of mixed feelings about it. And then President Joe Biden has recently proposed exchanging prisoners, Brittney Griner, for like a German assassin. Is that, yeah, exactly. And so then there's a lot of people who are like, what? No, this is suspect. So that's
Yeah.
what's happening right now. And if you want to go ahead and share your thoughts on it, then I'll share mine.
Yeah. 9 years is excessive for a vape pen, but again, that's their
Now,
country.
I heard it was marijuana. She brought marijuana into
They
Germany.
said she had a vape pen in
Hmm.
Germany. I thought it was Russia.
Okay, I don't know, girl. But
But she bought it, whatever it was, it's illegal in their country. And
exactly.
my thing is, you know better, for one.
Right.
But the thing is, I guess she forgot she had it in her bag.
Hmm.
Baby, you got to be careful when you go into them countries like that. You definitely got to be careful when you're going. You got to make sure you're doing it because they don't operate the same as the United States. They're not as liberal as the United. But then again, anymore, I don't know about us being liberal. But so you really have to be on point when you go to these different countries. You got to walk a real straight line. You can't
Right. And
Okay,
not
none of that.
let me say this. Let's put this out there because I don't want any misinformation that somebody knows is misinformation and we don't put it out there. Um, it was brought in a vape pen. Marijuana
Okay.
brought in a vape pen.
got it.
You got
Okay, that's why there's confusion.
yeah.
Okay, and now I'm now
And wait a minute.
something
And it is marijuana is illegal there.
right.
So it seems minor to us now that it's illegal, now that it's legal here,
Hmm.
but it's not there. And to my understanding, where you're looking at it, they're probably looking like heroin, like you just
Right.
brought this over here. And I want to start here. And let's not look at her color. Let's not look at her being a female. Let's not look at that country right now. Let's look at we're packing a bag and we're like, here you go. And you accidentally, and I'm just speaking, this is just my opinion, not the opinion of the co-host on Shop Talk with Mel, and you accidentally pack your vape pen with your air quotes medicine for the listening audience. Now, do you accidentally pack your toothbrush?
No. You do that on
Do
purpose.
you accidentally pack underwear?
No. You better bring those.
Now, watch this. Do you accidentally pack your blood pressure medicine?
No. You need that to live.
Absolutely. So you are going to, that's something that you'll probably forget. And you'll be like,
Right.
oh, and I just wanted to just put that out there just to look at it from another, side of the spectrum to say, okay. And not that she, to me, deserved 9 years, but I don't know if marijuana is
What kind of sentence
parallel
it
to
holds
like
over there?
cocaine here.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? In that country, since it's illegal. She looked like she's okay, in the photos. 9 years is a lie. Oops, surprise. And I really think I'm not thinking for anybody, but I really feel like they feel that it was intentional.
Well,
And that's how, that's how people usually convict people off of intention.
right.
Let me tell you something.
Go
That's kind of.
ahead. Go ahead.
I'm gonna do both sides of the story.
Go ahead.
Okay,
You
this is
play
like
devil's advocate.
people, will sneak stuff in their bag and put it, and put it in their suitcase because they know it's not going to run. Well, they think it's not going to run through. Because
And not
even
a
when you
carry on.
right, exactly. That has happened. People have, here, but then again, but then I know somebody who a couple years ago forgot that they had some marijuana and
Mhm.
they were traveling back to from Mississippi back to Ohio.
Okay.
They actually went through the TSA, scan and everything, and forgot they put it in their boob.
Oh, and they got through.
Completely forgot that they
And,
had
and,
it because
and
they
that's
were drunk
happy.
the night before. Didn't realize it till they got to the layover and was like, "Oh shit, well, baby, don't take it out now."
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah,
She
it,
got
it
through though. The grace of God.
she got through with the grace of God, but she completely forgot because she called my cousin like, "Guess what, cuz?" He's like, "What?" Guess what I did? I was like, "Whoa!" And you went through the TSA, and it, honey, listen. So that one was a complete accident because she was toe up the
Well,
night before and forgot
and
that she
see,
put
and
it in
guess
her
what
boob.
though?
So,
And guess what? That would be looking like you intended to get over had she got
hmm
caught. Think about it.
exactly.
Like you putting it in your top pockets. You tried to get over.
Yeah.
So
Right. That's what she was thanking God for because she was like, it wouldn't have looked good. And I wouldn't have been able to explain it like I forgot or nothing because they're not going to hear I forgot.
mhm.
Like you said, they're going to think it was done intentionally. That one wasn't done intentionally. The heifer just forgot because she was still drunk when she got on the plane. But
You got to be
like,
careful.
but with that Brittany, baby,
And I wanted to add from what I've heard, this could be completely inaccurate, that 9 years for marijuana in that country is standard for their citizens. So
okay.
it's not like she's getting a harsher sentence because she's a foreigner or because she's a woman or because she's black. Like it was a standard sentence. Like they don't play. And I know we had previously discussed the Otto, forgive me for mispronouncing his last name, Wittenauer case in North Korea and what unfortunately happened to that young man. And as Nyk was saying, you got to be real careful in other countries. You're not in America, and I think Americans really forget about that. And as a layer, and then on a global scale, as America is in decline as an empire or as a superpower, there are more and more countries that are like, oh, we don't care that you're American, you're just a person, you
Hmm.
know and we're not going to sit here and bend over backwards for you just because you're an American,
Absolutely.
whatever.
And everybody wants to be an American.
I don't know about that anymore.
Well, right now, but I'm saying think about it. So their laws and everything will be a lot stricter.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
this is supposed to be the land of the free.
And then as far as your point, as far as being intentional, I mean, that's a great point, Mel, because when you put it like that, I'm like, it don't seem accidental. Like the way you explain it, it don't even sound accidental. It doesn't really make sense. I'm the type of person, and I think most people are, you forget something important, not you accidentally throw something in your bag that you didn't mean to throw in your bag. That doesn't make sense, I think, for most people who've done any sort of traveling. You don't accidentally put something in your bag that you didn't intend to put in your bag.
Shout out to Angelina Jolie's daughter got accepted into Spelman.
Okay.
Yeah, she was down there. Angelina was down there doing the electric slide.
Oh, well.
It was
I'm glad
funny.
she's happy. I'm glad she's happy.
She was trying. She is
Yeah.
trying. I said, okay, get it in. I think it's amazing that they allowed her. Shout out to the HBCUs all the time. But I thought it was nice, commendable that they allow her to choose.
Right.
And, because they could have had her somewhere else, but it's like, no, this is where I wanted to be. And I love that they're like, okay, let's get into your culture, let you learn about you. You know what I mean? Because this is the Black daughter that they have.
Right.
So I was excited about it.
Yeah. But they don't seem like that type either, though, because I know, similar to Josephine Baker, which is something I recently learned, they adopted children from all different races and cultures and stuff, which I think is a beautiful thing.
Okay.
Some people think it is, and some people they think that people should just stick to their own. I mean, a child is a child. If a child is in need of a home, then that's where I'm at it nowadays.
Are
Because
you? Did you have a different
outlook before? Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
I can understand both sides of the spectrum, but the reality is you have children that are in the system and they're not being adopted. So when that community that wants to keep their own get it together and start fostering or adopting their own, then that's a valid argument. But until then, it's just like, so they're better off in foster care.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
They need a home. Someone is willing to take it. I mean, if you have that much of a problem, you go and foster them. You
Right.
go adopt them.
Exactly.
Like, that's where I'm with it now. At first, yeah, I was having a problem, but it's so many children that need a good home that, now where I have a problem is where, because we do have, and it's been on the news, some of those that will adopt our children and dog them out, because been several of them have been arrested that then either killed them or did something to them or put them like in cages and stuff like that. That it's over the last couple of years that has come up. That's where I have that problem. If that's what your sole reason for adopting, then yeah, no, then you need to. I'm not gonna say that, but leave our children alone. Then if you want to do that, go get your own. But they solely seek out and adopt Black children just so they. But for those that are genuine, because they're, like I said, of all races, there are a lot of children in foster homes. Like, if it's a good home, yes, please. I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
She said, okay.
Look, okay. Let me be male. Listen, I'm for it if it's genuine. Now, and so I agree with you, Nyk. But you have people that it's like a fad. It's like a new doll. Or, oh, okay, well, what's the next best thing? I've done everything on my checklist. So what's the next best thing? You know what I mean? And I was feeling like that for a minute in Hollywood. I was like, so is this the next best thing? And you had a problem when Michael Jackson did his. What? Think about it. Those are his children, blah, 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 blah. And he had to actually say, like, they were his, because he knew they wouldn't have liked it. They wouldn't have been on it at all. Now, let's get on the topic. Let's get on the topic real quick. Not real quick. Sugar babies. Sugar babies. Now, if you go back, that was mainly known. Sugar babies was mainly known for, like, they were like royal mistresses. You had the guy, he had all the money, and then boom, he had a little younger chick on the side. And she was down as long as she got an allowance. So I want to, and also, if you don't know what sugar babies are, they're usually paid in gifts or money. Some for company, some for allowance, and some for sex. So I want to put that out there. 40% of the sugar babies now do not have sex with the sugar daddy.
I need a sugar daddy then.
Oh, girl, hold on. Well,
that's half. That's almost half.
You need an 80-year-old, a 70-year-old, 80-year-old. Wait, let me finish with the facts. 90% of sugaring is conversation. That's what we found now. So some people just need the company. Look, somebody said sign me up.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. It's a craze. And I'm looking, and I was like, wait a minute, that was a thing that has happened before. With the sugar daddy's been around forever. But now people are capitalizing on the sugar babies. So the babies are actually seeking out to find sugar daddies, as you said, Nick, and as someone in the comments stated, like, sign me up, okay? Before, it was the sugar daddies that were seeking out sugar babies. So I had a conversation earlier today with a guy, and he was talking, and he said, you know what? He said, there's no respect in that. He said it's truth to me. He didn't want to come on. He didn't want to come on live, but he said it's no respect in that. He said, because if he was like, that person is bought. So that's paid for. So it's like, okay, this is what I do. That's mine. The simulation was, you ready? Obviously, he's a cigar smoker. He said it's like having at a cigar bar, having a locker. So when you go, boom, that's where your stuff is at. And they do what they do, and then they're done. Now, that was his case, and that was an older Black male. Now, let's flip it to, I ain't saying white people do or not like that, so don't be beating me up. But if a woman cuts it off, a sugar baby cuts it off, I know I would feel like I'm in danger if I was a sugar baby dealing with some of these people, non-melanated people, and some, melanated. Look, they out here killing people just for no reason.
Okay, I'm about to bring it up.
Go about this too. Go.
Okay, because it was every 5.5 hours, and it's actually lower now that a Black woman is getting toe tagged, murked, and exterminated. Okay, so Black women experience the highest rates of domestic violence, hands down, by leaps and bounds. So it's definitely not just yeah. It's raw data from the police, and that you can look it up on the FBI.
That reported.
And exactly. And all of them, people in this field agree that it's underreported. So there's even more because women of all races tend to not report. So, but as far as the gentleman's his interpretation of it, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it sounds kind of typical. Okay, and
that's what he does. So that's his experience.
Right. That's right. And I think that, I just feel like as women, because in America,
wait, let me put this disclaimer out there. If you are under 21, please don't listen to this show, because I am in no way promoting sugar babying or sugaring. Okay, I got to put that out there. Go ahead.
Talk for grown folks.
Yes.
Okay. That, so because the sexual liberation movement in our nation, in our culture, sex is readily available. And that's the first time in history that sex is just being given away for free, basically. And so, but all throughout history, men had to pay, whether it's flowers, gifts, dowries, or whatever, for access to a woman, and not just sexual access, attention, a conversation, being able to take her on a date, and that's still going on in a lot of other countries. No, you just can't walk up to a woman and be like, hey, let me take you out sometime. And she's like, okay. And then want to talk about go 50-50 on the bill. That is not history. So I think the idea that, a man has to pay for the attention, and not even sexual, as you pointed out, Mel, it's not even sexual. And I do feel like I want to point out that it's not the same thing as prostitution, because it is considered a relationship, and that a lot of these relationships, sorry.
Go ahead. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
They progress like a real relationship progress or it ends.
Like the movie Pretty Woman. And that wasn't sugar baby. That was straight prostitution.
That was straight up prostitution. Right. And that was because it's money or gifts. And I think the gifts tends to be a big part of it. And like you have pointed out, conversation is a big part of it, which is not something I would think you would experience with prostitution, like pure actual, and I don't want to say prostitution, actual sex work, because OnlyFans is considered sex work also. But yeah, I just feel like men, at least American men, and it's usually, and it's socioeconomic based as well, they're like, oh, why should I have to? And I also think that I just saw a little TikTok, and was about a woman commentating on how crazy it is for men that don't have wealth or means to be worried about gold diggers. And her analogy was, it's like a man in the desert who goes to sleep every night and has nightmares and worries about drowning. Like, it's not a part of your reality. It's not going to happen. So
yeah, what you said in America, and I get that, because you know AmberDee, the analyst, she knows, she was schooling me on this. I said we got to talk about it. But that would be similar to me as, well, not really, but in a way, the mail-in brides. You don't know them. Some young foreigners coming over here.
Exactly.
Here you go and do your wifely duties. I married you, almost to a sense, and this is just my thoughts only, where you're like bound, you're in slavery. It's like you're coming over there to cater to this man because he paid for you.
Right. And people are not saying mail-in brides are prostitutes. Like, it's not the same thing. It is an exchange. And a lot of those mail-in relationships don't last. Okay. If those women do end up escaping, and
people like you and me decide to go to the grocery store and start talking, like, what? I'm not supposed to do this? Huh? Talking to their girlfriends, you know, their homegirls, and that somebody put something in their ear. They're like, oh, wait, I'm being mistreated. She doesn't do that over there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think and I would say why a sugar baby relationship would be superior to a mail-in bride dynamic or situation is the baby has autonomy. You know, it's, you know what I'm saying? And the baby can walk away from the situation or end it. But in the same way you said, you were mentioning that you would be afraid to end a relationship. You ought to be afraid to end a relationship with anybody. With the way these men are acting nowadays, I mean, the things that are happening, he wouldn't even be paying for your time, and he still want to kill you for breaking up with him.
Now that is true. that y'all can check the stats on that. That is true.
It's very true.
Yeah, it is. Let me get this information out there. Sugar daddies are considered to be the age of 38 and over. I was like, 38? That's still a baby. And sugar babies are considered to be, and this is just a consensus, okay, 25 years old and older. But now, you know, they're like 21. Yeah. They just, you know, it's like legal age.
They're legal age.
And the rate, let me say this, 38 years old and usually making annually over 250,000. Then you have, which it's a lot of younger guys is doing it out there too. Usually the allowance. Now tell me if this is, you know, what you see. It is $2,000 to $2,500 a month allowance.
I would say on average, yes, but it is just like everything else. It's tied to your geographic location, your city, your cost of living. A sugar baby in like LA and New York and Miami, they're gonna have a higher allowance on average because it's more expensive to live in those cities. Whereas someone in a more rural place will get lower, and then also it's usually based on experience. So a more experienced or in high demand sugar baby is gonna command a higher allowance. So it's just like economics. You know, okay. Everything, just like how it's impacted by everything else, is geography and quality and experience and all that type of stuff. But I would say higher end, definitely that's high on the high end. But I would say on the low end, like 1,800 is like the lowest.
That sounds gutter.
Yeah. And that is,
what you got to do with that? Sir, you are not equipped to be a sugar daddy. $800, you don't have it. You're on a budget. Like, you're on income or something. 800?
Right.
Who's sitting at home $800 a month.
But I would think that would be okay if it was like a strictly online relationship. Like and then as we discussed, there's a whole gamut of what what the relationship is, and that's discussed between the two parties involved. And so, and you have a lot of men who have like fetishes and stuff like that. So more than likely you could charge more if he wanted you to do something specific, or if there was some type of caveat or whatever. And that's all it's negotiations. So I think it depends on what the relationship is. But if it's like, I know one of the main parameters is like how many times you want to see each other. Like if the daddy wants to see the baby, or the sugar mama or sugar daddy wants to see the sugar baby 3 times a week, that's a big chunk of your time. Like, listen, you got to pay me more. If the point is you have my undivided attention, then you need to pay for your attention.
Turning their phones off?
Who?
The sugar babies.
Turn their phones off?
I said, do you really think you said undivided attention?
Yeah.
As much as you see people,
right.
Like,
and I think that goes.
I don't know if I would be turning my phone on an escape route.
I think that's a great point, and I think that's one of the, as far as, because it's also the sugar daddy or sugar mama making a decision on the baby. Like, is it someone who isn't going to be on their phone when they're with me, someone who's genuinely paying attention to me, or who's genuinely into me, or doing the things I want them to do? So if you're giving out that energy of you're uncouth, you don't know how to act, you don't know how to carry yourself, you don't know how to maintain conversation, you're aggressive, you're angry, things like that, you're combative, you're going to be unsuccessful as a sugar baby. Like, your point is to have a pleasant experience, not to unburden all your crap onto the person that is paying you for your time. So, yeah, I
have a great experience. Nyk, what's your thoughts on this? Sugar baby. And like, we had a conversation, Amber and I, it was a while back, and I was talking about, it wasn't that long ago, I was like, what if you got to be like attracted to the person? Like, how do you just, if it's some old, ill balls in the toilet, you know what I mean? Stuck in the water, like, how do you even, like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and see, I don't know if I would be a good sugar baby, because I'm selective and I'm not doing everything. We can have good conversation, and I'll be your arm candy for high-end parties or conferences or something like that. But that's it. But you gonna pay me. So I wouldn't be a good sugar baby, because I'm very selective, and I'm not doing that. But then again, with the older men, now they be going around on Facebook. Some of them older men that they be posting, like, dang, especially that one older guy
that's a
in his
different
70s.
caliber of male, though, because I'm really, after I was like reading and doing my research and listening to different people that are involved in that, it seems as if it's okay. The dog know what's up. It seems as if there's a self-esteem issue on both parts. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Go ahead, Amber.
So according to my research that I've done, so it's a choice. It's just like dating. You can
let me let the listening audience know. Our research involves reading and speaking to individuals who are involved in that industry. Go ahead.
So it's a choice. So just like in dating, you can, and then there's lots of sugar babies, there's lots of sugar daddies. They're not in short supply. So it's like, you can be like, oh God, I can't even look you in the face. I can't do this with you. Sorry, I'm gonna pass. Hard no. And the sugar daddy could feel the same way. So you have to choose each other. And just like in dating, you start talking, you meet, and then if there's a vibe, if you click, if you're comfortable, if you're willing, if you can tolerate it, then you start talking about an allowance.
But like, okay, strip clubs. Let's go that route. You know, so you have, I mean, sugar daddies is just like tricks. You're tricking. Now, Lil Wayne, what did he say? I don't care how he try to change the narrative of tricking. What did he say? It ain't tricking if you got it.
Right.
Sir, it's tricking. You're just not, you know, financially, you're not affected by it. However way you look at it, it's still tricking, because look at Lil Wayne. Excuse me, sir. Never in a million years.
Nah, dog.
You know what I don't care. Never in a million years would I even think of dating you. So what would you do? You will go and get the fantasy, and I said it. This is me personally. Call it what you want. You go get the fantasy at the stripper club, okay? Because you don't have what is it called? A sale or whatever it's called. What you call it? Where the people incel, involuntary celibacy.
Incel.
There you go.
You know, Amber, though.
That's my accent. But even, you know, those are the type of people that you'll see that's in the strip clubs, paying for lap dance, paying for the fantasy. But if you're dealing with a guy of a different caliber with high self-esteem, this is just, let me get my opinion out. They ain't giving you no dime. And they're going for entertainment purposes or with their homeboys, or you'll see like a group of people. But it's like, okay, I know I'm not sleeping with this individual. So some, and when your married men are out there, do I think all married men have high self-esteem? Absolutely not. Women be putting up with them. And let me tell you, if you got low self-esteem, keep walking past me. I ain't lying, keep walking. Because like nobody has that time to put in unless you are that cleanup woman on the other side.
Oh Lord.
But I think that when, like I said with Lil Wayne, even though chicks like, oh, he a rapper, so they dating him for popularity, just like women date men for money.
Right.
Church girl. It's a lyric in there. It's a little like stanza that Beyonce has on that song Church Girl, where I know I'm not saying it right, but it was something to the effect like, if you ain't got it in the face, like you paying.
Well, and I wanted to say that, speaking of church girls,
be the cash because it ain't your face.
Wait, go ahead, Nick, one more time.
It must be the cash because it ain't your face. I hear that 50 million times a day, every day.
but
so people, I would think that at some point in their life has some self-esteem issue, because Jay-Z said, what did he say? I never heard of an ugly billionaire.
Right.
She must have been talking to her husband with that one, because I heard some of it is her new album is still some shade.
Well,
allegedly. But
I wanted to go ahead and bring up, when you mentioned church girls, that a lot, this is my observation as a church goer, women will get with men who are in clergy for the status within the church, and they ain't nothing to look at either. So
some of them.
Most of them, excuse me. Most of them. Girl, don't get me started on that. But the last thing, for this topic, the last thing I want to say was I wouldn't equate it to tricking, but it's just, to me, it was looking like dating. Now, maybe there's a lot of women, and that's why I would say, you know, just think about it, let it stew, let it marinate. If there's women who've never been on a nice date, who've never had a man who you're courting, like you're not in an exclusive relationship yet, buy you flowers, take you out to dinner, buy you jewelry, and that's what it is. It's like gifts, and a gift can also just mean money, a check. Like, do what you need to do, or paying a bill for you or something.
You got a co-signer back there.
Okay. Like, you ready to be a stupid baby?
Hey, is your dog a male or a female?
She's a female. She's like, yes, take me out, right? That's what it was looking like to me. If I'm going on a date with an affluent man, then yeah, I'm gonna, because there's men who are affluent but they're stingy, and they don't want to spend no money on you. And I feel like it's just like sugaring attracts a certain type of female. I think sugaring attracts a certain type of male, and they're the type of men who have money, and aren't afraid to spend it, and see women, or the woman on their arm, or the woman that they're with, or the woman they're entertaining, as worth spending money on. And if you're not feeling that, then you're not going to be a sugar daddy. And if you're not the type of woman that is comfortable or accepts or expects a man to pay for you, give you gifts, etc., then you're not going to be a sugar baby.
Now, let me put this information out there for, I'm not going to say the website. I will not say the website because I don't want to condone this behavior or promote it. I got to.
Without an advertisement fee.
Right. Right. I'm going to get that advertising fee. Right. The thing, okay, you with a guy, he paying top dollar. You see him, he musty, bad hygiene, unattractive, but he's paying. And he's an old man, but he's paying.
No.
I don't care how much you're paying. If you stank, you stank. I don't want to be I don't want no parts of that.
Now let's think about this. Let's take it back. Let's rewind it to like the 80s that I can relate to. When it was like an old retired man and he had a young chick and the chick was there and will be like looking at his Social Security check like it's for real money. And right.
I know a few that did that.
Right. So
lower standards.
Right. And you'll be looking like that cat is old, like.
But you know what? She sees it as a come up. She sees it as an asset, and she's going for it. Now, so like that's what I said. 800, as low as 800 a month, because that's like a Social Security check. You know what I'm saying? So,
some of them retirement pension checks and Social Security checks be high.
But yeah, but that's
depending on where they work. But still, that.
Watch this. A lot of these sugar babies aren't on drugs, right? This 2000, they're like, this is my job,
right? And I feel like with a lot of these males, excuse me, they want a woman to what they really want, and they don't want to say it, is they want them to be their woman's only focus. They want them to be the center. They want a woman to sit here and wash their feet and all this other nonsense, right? It's like, I want you to wait on me hand and foot. I want you to be barefoot and pregnant. I want you to be dependent on me. It's like, okay, but if you want that, sir, you're going to have to pay for it. Like that, if you want to just be my shining star and be the center of attention, how am I supposed to live and eat? Okay, pay my bills and have clothes. You're gonna have to provide that.
If they want a handmaid, that's gonna cost more.
Exactly. And the problem is these dudes want a handmaid and not pay for a handmaid and not pay for that kind of attention while you working 40 hours a week. The devil is a lie. Okay. No, if you want a handmaid, you want me to, sir, you're gonna pay a handmaid's fee. Okay. But and that's what it is. I think there's a lot of men who really want to be mothered by their spouse or their partner, their romantic companion. And that's a lot of energy. You don't give all that kind of energy. That's for a child. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you want that much energy, you want that much attention, you want all that love and care, yeah, you got to pay for that, because we're people, you got to eat.
See, that's where the lines get blurred, because it sounds like you know, like I was saying before, when they started it, they were considered like the royal mistresses. So what they couldn't do at home, they could do to this person, and they would be obliged. So that's why I'm like, okay, there's that prostitution, because usually, like, whatever acts you might want at the house that your wife is not going to do, or you do not want her to do, because you hold her to a higher standard, because that's a thing. You will pay for somebody else to degrade themselves. And I'm saying, and I'm using air quotes on the degrade, because clearly, you know, I met somebody that said they don't want their wife to do that. They don't want to do that to their wife because they degrade her. And I guess in their mind, if they do that to their wife, maybe they won't have, the same respect for her. I didn't go into detail, but I was like, that's interesting. And that's why that particular person went to prostitution, to do it to somebody that they didn't love. And that's what it sounds like some of the things that they probably can't come and had a, pee on the toilet seat and all on the floor until they wipe to clean it up. So let me go and I'm able to do this. And I mean, what's the difference? Prostitution, girlfriend, sex worker.
Ooh.
Help me make it make sense.
I mean, there's people, I think, to me, it's what's the dynamic between the people, and like you said, the respect and the degradation. I think that's more common in sex work. It's more common in prostitution, whereas any other type of relationship, a sugar baby, a mail-in bride, because even if that woman is more than likely being treated like a actual slave, she still has the title of wife, right? So there's a difference in that, right? And legally, she's going to have more foothold and more standing than a prostitute on the street, even though the dynamic within that relationship is basically prostitution. And I feel, prostitution is the oldest occupation of women since the beginning of time. Yes. Okay, and since the beginning of time. So I'm not someone who's like, oh my God, it's so horrible. Oh, because in other countries,
I don't think that.
Right, because in other countries, women, because they're so impoverished, they're so poor, you don't know what you would do. So I try to have compassion for people because thank God I ain't never been in that position, but women do whatever they got to do to get things done. And so I feel like it can be semantics because I do feel like there's women who are in relationships with the title of girlfriend and they're getting treated like prostitute. They got the energy is prostitution of degradation, of disrespect, usually abuse as well. So I think it's the actual dynamic within. And then also, I don't know the actual number, but some of these sugaring relationships, like I said, they developed into real boyfriend, girlfriend, which they call it spoiled girlfriend is the next level of sugaring. And then from there to wife. As far as the levels and how that goes, but sometimes
he's gonna have to keep up that same standard though.
Exactly, just like you've mentioned, when you start a relationship, you start here, and the expectation is you maintain it here, or go higher, not you go lower. So to me, it's like you're starting a relationship with high expectations of the man, and then the expectation is the end of the woman, and the expectation is you maintain it or go higher. But yeah, I think as far as all these different relationship titles, it's about what's going on between those two people.
Hey, if you want in on this conversation, feel free to do so. The phone number here is 619-902-2287, 619-902-2287. I had to think like, wait, what is the number? Let me make sure I had it posted up in here. Yeah. It's like, wait a second, 2287, 619-902-2287. I'm so engrossed in this conversation. Now, there are 3 types of sugaring. You have your prostitution, your friendship, and love. And you touched on the love part as far as moving into girlfriend phase, into wife phase. And to my understanding, the sugar daddies prefer to be called beneficiaries. Or benefactors, sorry.
Okay. I mean, and it's just like I want to say early 2000s when they
be like, hey, sugar daddy.
I'm feeling old, I'm saying the early 2000s when Lil Wayne once again was talking about being a sponsor, and that term sponsor, like I want a man to sponsor me, I'll be your sponsor. It's all the same things. It's semantics. Okay, it's the same thing. You want me to call you benefit? Okay. You want me to be a sponsor? Okay. You want sugar? Okay, it don't matter because it's all the same. Right.
But sponsor is good because to be a sponsor, you want nothing in return.
Okay, well, I need a sponsor for my business so I can hurry up and get everything open. Okay, sugar daddies or sponsors or benefactors.
Okay,
there you go.
Right.
But wait, so look at the term. Okay, so sponsor. You look at the term sponsor. They're just giving.
I think that's even
so. I'll take that. Wait. Follow me down this rabbit hole. Nah. Then you go sugar daddy. That just sounds like some old powder head, like shriveled up, don't work. Probably like, can you help me? Okay. And then benefactor. So with a benefactor, to me is, yeah, I benefit, but they're wanting to know how do they benefit. So that's like a fair, that's like life. Givers and takers, fair exchange, no robbery. You know what I mean? So I don't know about this here benefactor. Oh, that's a
well, no, I think okay. So to me, when you were talking about having low self-esteem, the sugar daddies having, I think
both, but go ahead.
Right, and you said both, but I think when it's a sponsor dynamic, then yeah, that person, the sugar daddy or sugar mama, has low self-esteem. I would think, just as I feel all people are equal and deserving, like, no, and then you're just the abuser in that dynamic. Like, you're the taker, you're taking everything, and you're not even giving anything in exchange, whether it's your love, affection, time, conversation, sex, whatever. You're not giving that person anything. I don't think that, to me, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? I do believe that things should be a fair exchange.
Oh, look how nice she is. I don't mind taking.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't mind.
Yeah. And I think people are equating it immediately to sex. And like you said, 40% is just conversation. You acting like you too good to speak.
No, 90% is conversation.
Oh.
Yeah, 90% is conversation. So I'm thinking that the other 50 is probably, like you said, a fetish, and maybe just stand there, maybe be my arm piece. Because 40%, they say, do not have sex with their benefactors. But 90% is just conversation. So, it's like, okay, so that 50% is, I think Nyk was talking about, I'll be your arm piece. You know what I'm saying? So you do have different things, I guess, that you can do or not do. In my case, not do.
Right. And I think that, again, you just, as far as the allowance, you, just like in a real relationship, you ought to establish expectations and boundaries verbally with each other. Like, I'm comfortable doing this, but I'm not going to do that. And he's obligated to say, I really want this. Would you be willing to do that? And you can say yes or no.
So they're being paid to stand by, because I have been somebody's date just to go, so, okay, we'll just go out here. We're cool. And they paid for everything. So that was just the dinner. So I should have got more money, huh?
You could have.
You could have.
And that's why I'm just like, I maybe I need to do this myself. But like, it's just like, to me, if a man is willing to pay me, like, Amber, you're so amazing. I love your energy. I love talking to you. I just want to talk to you and take you on a date sometime. And I will give you $2,000. And I'm like, I don't want to take you on a date. Like, I want to be seen in public with you. I can't talk to you. Like, bitch, who are you? Calm the fuck down. Like, yes. Okay. If we
I'm Mel. Talk about, who are you, Mel? Nyk? Like,
right. I just feel like if
we gotta go out of town,
we can go on a date. You know what I'm saying? I will go on a date and have a conversation with you. To me, that's not asking for too much. Sex is a whole different conversation. But yeah, a conversation, a chit chat. Oh, how you doing this week? How was your day? I don't see how that's asking for too much. And you're being compensated financially to speak to them and care about their life.
So when you talk to some of the females, have you noticed where the guy is paying for them, for their time, got them on standby? So here's your retainer fee. You know what I mean?
Right.
Every month. Do you, or have you heard where he starts to disrespect her, like verbally?
So the things, so the people I've spoke to, well, I notice is a lot when the sugar baby relationships end, and what I thought was it sounds like a regular relationship. They found someone else, and then exclusive. And as far as the retainer, the exclusivity is, again, that is dependent on the parties involved. Some men will pay for their expectations exclusivity, others won't, because they don't want to be exclusive themselves. So it may not be exclusive. That's just dependent on the individuals. But from what I heard, it was they found someone else, or they were delaying having the conversation as the allowance conversation. So it was turning into free conversation. And that's
So
unacceptable.
when is that addressed?
Huh?
When is that?
So from what my research was, you link up, meet them or whatever, you talk a bit remotely. Then if things are going well, you go on a meet and greet, right? And you meet each other physically face to face. Now, if there's a distance issue or something like that, that could be further down the road. Or a lot of these men they actually have money. They actually have jobs. They're very busy. So it's not like, oh, we meet the next day or something. So this is usually a delayed process and it takes time. But after you meet, y'all click, he's good with it, she's good with it, then you'll agree to go on another date. And then they could go on up to usually 2 to 3 dates, maybe 5 dates. And once that pattern is starting to get established, then the reoccurring monthly allowance is discussed. And prior to that, it's a meet and greet fee or a pay per date. Like it'll be $300-$400 to go on the date. Okay. And then once you want to make it more official and secure, then you'll discuss a monthly allowance or a set rate.
Okay.
So I was like,
Now, photos. I spoke to a young lady that she said she doesn't take photos unless, they lay down and then they'll pay for a picture.
Well, okay. And this goes back. I don't know if you guys have ever been, any of your listening audience has ever been on Tinder or any other dating site. Men who are not willing to pay will ask you for nudes all the time. It's like, if I'm going to give you a nude, yeah, I think maybe you should pay for it, sir. But dudes will ask for it just for free. Just say, hey, can you send me a nude? Like, send me a nudie, and it's so again, these men are actually willing to pay for what they're asking for. And it's stuff that non-paying men will ask the exact same thing for.
And women respond to the non-paying man.
Yeah, that's what the crazy part is.
As if that's better. As if you're holding on to your dignity better by not paying, making them pay.
What I don't understand is make it make sense, ladies. You'll respond to a man that's not paying, but you will cuss a man out that is willing to pay.
Makes no sense. Exactly.
Well, it does morally. It does, but we're losing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because you'll be offended. Most women will be offended. Like, you what? You are paying me for what? And we will be offended. But somebody that's over there that we got to pay for the lunch and the dinner and the movies and everything for.
Yeah.
They, like you said, Amber and Nick, they get it. They get the same thing like for free. And that's why I was asking about the self-esteem piece. That's why I focused on the self-esteem piece, because it does seem like the ones that are willing to pay, they got some other type of issue where they can't readily get a woman, or maybe they don't know how to speak to a female and, have a problem with rejection. And then you have that person that is okay, and they can know how to pick up a girl, they can do everything, and then they want to be the gigolo, but they looking for a sugar mama,
right? And I think that also when you
let me hear from Nick real quick. What's your thoughts on that? Like, you got a man on one side that wants the woman to pay, and the sugar baby's coming out the gate like, now let's bring it on back. And it really, listen, it took me by storm, because when I looked at it, I was like, since 2006, the sugar babies was like, we coming back out. Like, no, this is it. And I'm thinking that they were tired of guys not dating them.
Exactly.
And it's like, if you're not going to date me, I'll go somewhere where somebody will pay me. And if I'm having sex with you for free, and this came from 3 people, if I'm having sex for free here and dealing with your mess, and then got to figure out what we're going to eat tomorrow, or what am I going to possibly eat, and I'm trying to pay for my apartment, and you can never help me, but you want to lay over here and play your Xbox, why wouldn't I take this chance? One young lady, she said she likes sex. She was like, oh, I'm okay. She's like, I'm not emotionally connected. But you know how my mind is. I'm like, oh,
baby, you got to get paid. Hopefully she's listening. Girl, you better get paid. Ain't nothing wrong with liking sex. Like it all you want.
Well, she is.
But then don't let the other guy that ain't doing nothing for you lay up.
That's what she said. That's what I was speaking on. That's what she said. That's what she was like. I don't have a problem with being with a sugar daddy
Okay.
because, and she was saying, dealing with somebody that's doing this because she's attracted to the bad boy. She said that. I'm attracted to the bad boy. She said, I don't know why. She was like, but I gotta live. And that's when she said, I just went, mind over heart.
As you should. Historically, women have always made reproductive and marital decisions as mind over heart. And
Ain't
y'all
nothing
know
wrong
I
with
think
having a bad boy, but get a bad boy that's paid, please and thank you.
Well, that's what she did. She's not with a bad boy. She went to sugar babying and quite successful.
I mean, I'm talking about with the other one. Ain't nothing wrong with having a
in her
bad boy.
career. Quite successful in her career.
Yeah.
Right.
Put me on there. Shoot. I'm not having no sex. I can't do that.
Right. And I just feel like if you're in the regular dating world, you're experiencing everything that you could, all the negative experiences you could have with a sugar daddy and the man's not paying. So what is the difference exactly? I don't see it. I think it's just, if you can, and that's the other thing is, sugar days, there's a lot of sugar babies. So they have their preference as well. They can say, yeah, you're not what I'm looking for. I want someone younger. I want someone thinner. I want someone XYZ, whatever. They're in a position to have standards and preferences because they have the resources to pay. And then whereas a man who is not willing to pay or doesn't have the money to pay, he's probably going to be less select. And I feel like there's a lot of women who've experienced entertaining a man, come to find out you're just a placeholder. He don't even think you're all that. You're not good enough. He's waiting till for the next best thing to come along. And he can't tell you that because he ain't paying for nothing. And so he's entertaining you, but in the back of his mind, oh, I'm gonna wait for something better to come along. Whereas if it's what'd you say, Mel? An exchange, if it's exchange, no hurt, no foul, it's not robbery. I'm gonna give you this, you're gonna give me that. Then when you go your separate ways, you're not gonna feel like I was taken advantage. I was used on either party because it was verbally agreed upon what it was and what it ain't. Yeah.
Now I want to put this out here. The sugar babies, they file a 1099. I said, this is a thing. This here is it's a thing. I'm so serious.
Employment. Okay. I ain't mad at you.
Okay. This is a thing. And most of the sites where you have your sugar daddies and the sugar babies, they start at $50 a monthly fee for the sugar daddies, and all the females are free.
Because that's the dynamic. It's already setting the dynamic. And I think it also helps to filter out non-serious men or men who are posing as a sugar daddy but don't actually have the resources. And I think that, and just like in regular dating, you can have that in regular dating.
Liar.
He's a regular liar. Exactly. And so just like there's sugar babies that are scammers and might take advantage of a man looking for a sugar baby, you have men who are posing as sugar daddies or who are just cheap, and they're trying to get, just like in regular dating, they're trying to get the milk without paying for the cow.
He come in a canary yellow suit on the first date, 3/4 length jacket. What you doing, Nick? What you doing, Nick? He walked in the door.
No, listen.
Well, usually they be early. Old people be early.
Listen, dude, that went out a long time ago. That was about 10 years ago. Come on.
But what do you say in your mind? You like, okay, sign me up. I'm on this. You walk in, he got on top of someone. Can I have a hug? And he got on. He got on a canary yellow 3/4 length jacket or suit.
I can't say nothing because.
Memories.
Exactly. Me and my husband had went to a birthday party one time, and he had a yellow suit with 3/4 length jacket, and
With your husband. Oh, you'll be all right with the old captain.
Oh,
that was in 2000. Yeah, 2014. We was or 2015. I mean, I was like, okay,
Okay, Nick.
and we took pictures. I mean, it was a nice suit though.
Okay, but wait, you ain't tell him?
I went to the house.
Wait.
Was
You ain't
downstairs. We were waiting on him to get. He kept downstairs. I was like, but it was a cute suit though.
Nah, it wasn't cute because you turned to the left. I saw all your hair in the screen.
Yeah.
That mirror.
No, it was, but I was like,
This would be the case. So you figure they probably can't get somebody because they coming out with the old Coogee sweaters, you know what I'm saying? And they thinking they got it, and you be like, I got to deal with this clown with these tap shoes on,
that's the thing. This
old
dude got
skins and a Coogee sweater, and act like I'm having a good time.
Right. That's the thing. This dude got clothes.
Like
He got all of
$800 check.
He got clothes, nice clothes. That's why I'm like, nice dress stuff, and I'm like, dude, that's kind of like a couple years ago. What you doing?
But we got to be able to tell people. But I guess you don't if it's a sugar. But with the yellow suit.
And I feel like in regular dating, when you like a man, and also I wanted to touch on like the sex part of it, like you'll tend to hold back because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want to damage the developing connection or whatever. So in the end, it's the same thing because you're holding back your feelings because you want the relationship to go well, be successful. You don't want to hurt your partner's feelings, this person whom you care about. But in a sugar relationship, you hold back. You don't say anything because you're getting paid.
So is it like agency work, like a 12-week contract?
Probably
6 weeks.
Right. I think it's more on like a month by month basis, like just like any other relationship can end. The arrangement can end too. But when you had mentioned sex, like as far as babies that are having sex with their partners, I do think, like Nick said, you gotta there has to be some level of attraction, and it's like you're willing to have sex with someone that maybe you're not super into, and because you're being financially compensated. But in the regular dating world, you're giving away sex for free and arguably degrading yourself because you like them. But either relationship may or may not work out.
It's supposed to be making love.
Girl,
so I guess to clear the blurred lines, that would be the difference between prostitution and a sugar baby. You actually get a connection, so you got to get there before you actually have sex with somebody, unless you're a regular prostitute and you one of the regulars and they know where you're going to be at. But like nowadays they getting what, $25, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. I don't know the going rate for prostitution.
I think it's actually quite low. I also want to say, like you mentioned, Mel, a lot of the sugar babies are employed, they're educated, they're usually young, pretty skinny. These are women that have options. They're not destitute and desperate. And I think that's a big
bunch of them down here.
Oh, Jesus.
Living in condos, driving Land Rovers and stuff like that, and be young as I don't know what. Yeah, they got good jobs or whatever, but they being compensated a little bit more because it's like, baby, I know you.
But is it something wrong? Is there anything wrong?
Exactly.
No. I'd be sitting there like, dang, can I be in your position?
Right.
Let me all agree to having a sponsor.
Oh, a sponsor, a benefactor,
a benefactor with they like.
I'd be okay with a benefactor. I feel like, because as you said, the low self-esteem of the sugar daddy, I couldn't do it because that would turn me off. I think any person who has self-respect is a healthy relationship is an exchange of emotions, energy, time, money, sex, whatever. I think anybody who's willing to be in a connection where they're receiving nothing, there's something wrong with them, whether you're the man or you're the woman. It's just not healthy.
So that's a self-esteem issue, or it could be a self-esteem issue as well.
Yeah, I think everyone deserves something.
Now, this is what I looked at, and while we were preparing for this show, I said it's so interesting how if you have a higher standard, you're a gold digger.
Ooh. Okay, so what? my gosh.
You know, so no, really, let's think.
Yeah, no, because okay, so black women will get called gold diggers because they have expectations, but you know that is historically it's appropriate and it's normal, and then but then these same people that are calling black women gold diggers will take their wealth and resources to non-black women and understand that a non-black woman is socialized in a community where she will accept nothing less. You're not even able to entertain her because the men of her own community are of whatever level caliber. So you got to come in there and do at least what her own men are doing.
Which actually proves the point that our guest, Mr. Roll Whitney. Okay, Stanley Lamar Levy. Okay, let's get him out there on TikTok. Check him out. He was
Shout out.
Yes. When he said that men will conform.
Yes.
If they're chasing you, they're going to conform to what you want. So I got to give it to him because he did say that last week. Now, my point was with the gold digger, I said, it's so interesting. I said, why do they, if you want more, hear me clear, then they can offer.
That's right.
You're considered a gold digger.
Exactly.
How about I'm considered not your type?
Or you can't meet my expectations.
Yeah, you was about to say afford me. You going back to the sugar babies.
Okay. You can't afford it, boo. Okay, just go ahead and say
my rates are
right. Or and this is when we flip it into the traditional dating realm. You don't think I'm worth it. And that's what women need to understand. When a man don't want to pay, when he don't want to give you gifts, when he don't want to pay your bills, it could be that he doesn't have it. But more than likely, it's because he don't think you're worth it. And why would I entertain a man who don't think I'm worth that? I absolutely not. No. Mm-mm.
Good. It's up to us to settle. And I don't understand why we settle when we don't have to. Look at the sugar babies. They're thriving.
And not only that, the world, what is it right now, Mel? 7-point-something billion people on the planet. So that's what over 3 billion men with a B, and you're like, oh, well, I just gotta accept this, and I can't do nothing better. And you know, there's a scarcity. There's not that many good men out here. Okay, if there's not that many good men, I'm gonna get me a trash man that's gonna pay me. How about that? If you're of the mindset that expect to be disrespected, expect to be cheated on, just expect a bunch of heartache and nonsense, ma'am, you most certainly ought to be getting compensated for tolerating all that nonsense.
You know what? Let me give these stats to you. These are new stats.
Okay.
Watch this, which I'm not mad at, because before, you remember, the ratio was like crazy where there weren't enough men, to the women. Now, it was. There were more females than males, they said, up until 1957. But let's talk about 2021, the new stats. 101.68 males per 100 females. So now there's no need to share.
And there's men who want women to believe that you have to share. And if you want a good black man, there's so few good black men, you got to share him.
Because the stats were different. Back in 17 and 16, it was crazy. But now, and we're picking and choosing. Now, I gotta be fair. Let's talk about that female who refused to allow a male to pay for the date. She's first masculine. Date.
That's masculine energy.
And then upset that they don't show up later on in the relationship. Back to Mr. Roll Whitney, they conform to what you want. I heard a story. Well, it was her story. And she was saying that on her first date, this young lady, the guy went to open her door. She was like, oh, I can open my door. Carter to let her in. Oh, I got money. You don't have to pay for the movie. I got money. Don't worry about it. I got it. So
Sounds
she
like
starts,
shit.
wait a minute. So she starts out like that. And when she starts out like that, so he conformed. Why is it that female or females like that get upset when they don't come through a year down the line, 6 months down the line, and now you never take me out? How you start is how you finish.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And that sounds like she was raised in an environment or had adult experiences where um it was, and this is one of my issues, that it's good to be independent, and that you either you have to be independent because men are unreliable, or it's a good thing. It's not a good thing, but it's appealing to men. And in my experience
That's
in adulthood,
appealing to a child.
right? What?
I said that's appealing to a child, not a man.
Exactly. And it's like, if you're going into not just dating, but just the whole life with this mindset of only bad things happen to me, there's no good men out here, all men are dogs, they're all going to cheat on me. That's what you're going to manifest into your life.
No,
And
go ahead, because I want to touch on that. Go ahead.
okay, and then, or if she's of the type that I need to prove myself and making myself look independent and show him how independent I am, that's going to appeal to him. Now, I will say, conversely, something else I discovered with my research is that a lot of these real legit sugar daddies are in high stress occupations. They have a lot of responsibility. They tend to be surrounded by people and other women that are very dependent upon them. So, a part, like you said, the escapism element of the sugar baby dynamic is that you are a woman they're entertaining that does not need them. And that is refreshing, just like how a lot of men who are in positions of power and influence and control, a lot of their sometimes their release and therapy for that is to be dominated by a woman and to have no control and no voice, because it's such an inversion of their normal life. So some of these men, and then I want to say, I don't want to quote the wrong person, but I feel like there was a billionaire that said that affluent men are actually attracted to and entertain independent women with their own money, women with their own intelligence, women with their own mind. And really affluent men tend to pair, marry, partner, procreate with women who are on their level.
Okay.
But that's like as far as like sugaring and like very wealthy men. But I feel like on average, dating normal guys is like, most men want to feel needed. You know what I'm saying? And just like women want to have the opportunity to operate in their feminine energy, men want to have the opportunity to operate in their masculine energy. And if you're a woman who's coming, that you're just getting to know in the beginning, and you're exuding all of this masculine energy, first of all, fighting, marching, protesting, that's masculine. Being like, oh, I will paying a bill is masculine. Taking the orders and being like, oh, I can do this myself, that's masculine energy of being independent. And I think women, because they're taught something different, are conflating independence with masculinity.
Okay, I will say this for that particular scenario that I gave you. Dad in the home, but dad wasn't working. So did you see mom taking care of everything? So you think, because you got to watch when you're raising children, so you might be under the mindset like this is the way that it goes. Or just as you said, Amber, he ain't living up to his standard, like you're not handling business. So the image that you see, the male that you see, that's why I tell people who have children and you're dating, if you have women and you have a son, your son is going to look at the men you date because they want to please their mom. The type of men you date, when you see your son walking around and and then let me say this, women, and I've seen this to be true. Women dress their sons when they're younger, according to the men they're attracted to.
I agree.
Now, when you are a single father with a daughter, you can't just bring different girls in there because your daughter is watching and she'll think that it's okay for different men to be in and out of her house because she's looking, or like, oh, okay, it's okay for me to be over at a guy's house. This is what we do, because they learn from what they see. So, in that, when you're raising younger children, be aware of that. The people that you date, do you mind your child becoming that person? Because that's what you're going to get. Now, back to when I said I wanted to touch bases on where you have that strong girl, or she's attracted to the guy that's not the do nothing guy. You know what I mean? First of all, you need to ask yourself, because we can't change other people. We can only look at us and change ourselves. And the way that you do that, just say, why am I attracting these type of people? What about me? Not to beat yourself up, but what about me is attracting these, why are these people attracted to me? That's something to think about. And also, when women chase, why do I keep going to these type of people, these type of men? What is it about me that's what I want? Do I want to be the savior? Do I need to switch roles, the masculinity? Do I need to feel like I nursed you back to health? And then you're upset after you nurse them back to health and they go off. Thank you for the Band-Aid. I'm healed. It's like being in the hospital. Everybody's there. And then once you are healed, bye-bye.
Yeah.
So those are things that we have to look at within ourselves and make better choices. Now, I ain't saying go be a sugar baby. But if you keep, you keep digging in the same barrel and expecting something different, take your pail back to the well, okay? And dip it in and find some new fish. And remember the objective. And I hate to say, even relationships, but Amber, you said the stats. Mind over heart. What are you looking for? What are you looking for? How are you trying to benefit? You got to know that first, especially on the dating scene. And I haven't been on the dating sites. I should just get on there just to see what's out there, just for my research. But then they'll be mad at me, talking about something you playing and we looking for love. You know what I'm saying? But I'm thinking about, doing that to see exactly what's out there and what type of people are out there. But know what you're looking for and don't settle. And if you're looking for something and you're that hungry for it, we tend to accept what is presented. We have options, just like these guys have options. They gigolos. Remember that term? The gigolo. But when they have options, it's like, no, I know my standards. You know what I'm saying? And women need to be the same way. And I'm not mad at the sugar babies, real talk. I'm not. I'm not. So, Nyk, you signing up?
Yes, ma'am.
And they like, Nyk, you signing up? She over there quiet, like, let me weigh my options.
Because I got a business that I'm trying to start soon.
Hey, listen, on the date, don't tell them your business, because then they'll be talking about something that's partially mine, trying to take you to court.
Oh,
but you know what? Also, according to my research, the sugar daddies like to know where the allowance is going to, and they are attracted to women with goals and plans, and that goes a part of these young women that you tend to see being they're young, they're ambitious, and I think anybody when they're young, you have, you got the stars in your eyes and you're like, I'm going to do this. And my plan is to do this. And you tend to have these really, really far-fetched, huge goals. And so I think from what I've heard, what I've been told, they like that. They like when you have a goal. They like knowing that they're helping you achieve something that's important to you.
That's all well and good, but that's TMI. That's too much information for a stranger, honey.
Not if you're paying you. Not if you're paying.
You're paying me. This is our business. That's like going to work a 9 to 5 and tell the boss what you doing with your paycheck. Absolutely not.
Well, and I think that goes back to it's more of a relationship than just a transaction. But when you were talking about women and why you're attracted, and you said why are you attracting these type of men and why are you attracted to these type of men, I feel like the next step in that conversation with yourself is like being honest about like what you said, like what you need, what you're looking for. And it's like, do you want to be the savior? And I feel like a lot of women, when you really keep digging through the layers and layers, it's because I want to nourish and save you and bring you back up to health, because I'm not confident that if you weren't sickly, if you didn't have a problem, you'd pay attention to me, or I'd be good enough for you. If you were strong and in your power and the best version of yourself,
would you choose me?
Would you choose me? And I feel like the flip side of that with the sugaring is, this is what's right here, take it or leave it, and you're gonna pay for it. So if they're willing to pay for it, they're already accepting.
So you think so it's control?
I think I like you were mentioning self-esteem. I think when women chase men or women repeatedly attract undesirable men, it's because at the core of it is that I don't think I could pull a healthy, well-balanced partner. He has to have something wrong with him, so then he needs me more, and then I can fix him and build him up. And then there's a lot of women and men who think that if I help this person while they're down and out, they're going to stay with me. That almost never happens. When you help someone, it almost never happens. It doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. When you help someone when they're down and out, they're going to leave. And that's why you're supposed to help people with the expectation of nothing in return. And if you're not comfortable doing that, you shouldn't be helping them. And I'm not that kind of a helper. So
that is true, because knowing some men, some the guys that I know, they get that damsel in distress, and then after she's all good and confident again, and you help build her up, she's out.
Exactly. And that's just patterns. That's history. It's documented. Like, that's not a good way. It's not a good energy and not a good mindset to approach dating. Because that's very unlikely to be successful.
And that's why I believe it's a self-esteem issue.
Right.
Because just what you stated, if you were where you wanted to be, would you still be with me? And that's a question that we all have to ask, especially for those who keep getting, and don't give me animal rights people, I'm just using an analogy, the sick puppy. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what do you do? And you have men that want to be the savior. And it's like, okay, and you get the sick puppy and you nurse it back, and then they're gone.
Right.
Then you be like, okay, I helped you. And this is a little different, but was this Stella? Was that Stella?
Stella got a groove back.
When she burned the office down and all that other stuff?
Oh, no, that was the office.
Waiting to exhale.
Yeah, when she burned the car.
And I knew it was something. I'm like, she walked out of the building and
blew up.
Right, like, hey. But you have that where it's like, okay, I helped you when you were down. I helped you build this. And then now that you build this, and I'm like, okay, this is our future. So I didn't put 100% in. And then once you get there, you walk away. That's not cool. So,
but that's life. That's what happens.
So I understand the sugar babies.
I mean, and I feel like with modern dating the way it is now, what security does a woman have knowing that there's a future in this relationship or this man that you're pursuing or entertaining? You have none. You have literally no realistic expectations that this could become marriage. This could be a long-term situation. Y'all are going to get married, have kids together, and live in white picket fence. Nothing. So since the future is so insecure, and particularly in American culture, let me just say it, I'm speaking as an American, with the divorce rate being over, it's like 50% right now. Why would you not opt instead to say, I'm going to date, but I'm going to be compensated as this relationship progresses, instead of waiting, hoping for the end result. Like, let me get out. I'm going to expect my compensation in the very end, if we even get there, even though it's unlikely that we will ever get there. So then you end up with no compensation from dating.
Well, let's put it out there. The divorce rate is at least 44%, 44.2 to be exact.
Right.
Okay. Nyk, what's your thoughts? Answer her question. Or you sleep.
No.
It seems like she's taking it all in.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just listening to everything.
I love the research that you did, Amber. That's why I was like, oh,
Right. It's like I would have never even thought to take the time to research that, dude. I'm just
Well, be true. So someone very close to me started doing it, and I'm a rider type of friend, and I'm a rider type of romantic partner. And if you my friend, I'm a ride with you. Even if I have my personal reservations, I'm like, okay. And when she started telling me the things that she was learning, okay, and I'm like, hold up, wait a minute, this making a lot of sense right now. Like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
like, this is worth looking into.
Wait a minute. Let me dig a little bit deeper. Especially, like I said, if you're like me and you're an average woman and you've had standard, normal dating experiences, it's like, what? Oh, we got it backwards. Especially if you're in a position where you're not destitute, you are not desperate, you are employed, you have your own money. Wait a minute, why are you entertaining men for free?
right.
What? I was like, wait a minute.
That's just the extra added bonus right there. Like,
Right, and especially if you've gotten to the place in your journey and your healing where you're actually content being by yourself. It's like, no, boo boo, you're not doing me a favor by taking me on a date. I'm doing you a favor. I'm fine by myself. So if you do want to entertain me, yeah, you can pay. Or I'll take myself on a date. Okay, by myself. So it's just like, it was eye-opening, because when I really started comparing like modern dating to the sugar baby dynamic, I'm like, well, this is actually superior. Especially when you're comparing sugar baby dynamic to courting 150 years ago. Oh, wait a minute, this is sounding very similar. When you start looking at the bigger picture, it really made me think, as a modern woman, what are you getting out of modern dating?
Okay.
nothing really.
Hello?
That's sad.
You're not getting nothing. So either close your legs or make them pay.
I'm getting something out of it.
Get something out of it.
But
Get something out of it.
Sugar mamas, do you believe that that's a self-esteem issue?
No, because I don't think that a sugar daddy is inherently a self-esteem issue. But I do think what you call a sponsor dynamic, I think that's a self-esteem issue. So whether you're a male or a female sponsor, I think you got some self-esteem issues. But as far as because I'm also low-key a cougar, so I will entertain a younger man also. So it's just like dating, regular dating. If you vibe and you connect with someone and you entertain them, and as we all know, there's advantages with younger women, there's advantages of younger men.
Let me put this out here. 38 years old determines if you're a cougar or not. Sugar mama.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm not old.
Oh, you're not a cougar yet.
Not yet, but I will be. And I think a part of it, again, is part of your family dynamic. I didn't realize until I was much older, there's a lot of cougars in my family. And so that's what I observed.
I want to ask Nyk the question now. What's your thoughts on, do you think it's a self-esteem issue for sugar mamas?
No. But I mean, if they got it and that's what they want, then that's what they gonna do.
Oh, here go Little Wayne again. It ain't tricking. Yes, it is. It's tricking.
No, I don't think it's a self-esteem issue. I mean, like, I don't know. I really don't think it's a self-esteem issue. For real, some of them sugar mamas, they esteem is out of this world. For real, some of them is like
Or is it from hurt? Like, I just want what I want by see ya, I'm good by myself. Or is it, you know, I don't want to deal with the headache.
I think it's more so they don't
This,
want to deal with the headache of things.
how
They
many
just
children do you have, young man,
right.
young man? Up, and I'm not dealing with that either.
Exactly. So
Mm.
I'm thinking that's more along the lines of that. Like they just want when they want at that particular time. When they want to be bothered, then they'll be bothered. When they don't want to be bothered, then
Well,
okay.
okay, Nick. So the retainer fee, do you think it should be the same for the men monthly? The 2,000 to 2,500 for the sugar mamas?
I mean, it depends on what they want, what level that we're in their, and like you said, their environment, their, where they are.
Because you do.
So I mean, it really should be. If you gonna do it, be the same.
So, okay, so you say the same for the men and the women. A sugar baby's a sugar baby, regardless of.
Yeah, because the men doing the same service that the women are doing. So why not? I mean, we got enough of an inequality when it comes to pay in America, when it comes to males and females as it is.
Oh,
I
she
want
woke
to
Male
y'all.
and
She
female
woke
doing the
y'all.
same job, but the male is getting paid more than the female. And we doing the same job. In fact, I might be doing it better because he lazy.
mm.
Oh,
I wanted to add that I actually watched a documentary. I feel like it was like on Dateline or something. Like it was a legit news station interviewing a male prostitute. And I forgot what his rate was or whatever, or how it compared to female prostitutes, but he said that he was, I didn't find him attractive, but I could see other women. He was a Caucasian man, finding him attractive. He had a nice body, and he said most of his clients are older women, a little bit older than him, but they're obviously they have a ton of money. They're very affluent women, and a lot of the times he didn't even have to have sex with them. Just like with the sugar daddy dynamic, it was conversation. It was the things you expect a boyfriend to say to you, he was expected to say that. And then it was a lot of cuddling and being held. And that's what he reported as far as his work as a sex worker. I mean, it included sex sometimes, but many times with his female clients, it was cuddling and it was the conversation. And then being pampered. A lot of his clients will want him to like run a bath for them and do that type of stuff. Like he was like a paid boyfriend.
well, we're emotional beings.
It,
So they may not even have to have sex or require sex. They probably just
exactly.
want a conversation and late night phone calls.
Right.
And as a cuddler myself, I said, "Oh, that makes sense," because I love to be held by a man. I love it. So I was like,
Oh, AmberDee won't cuddle. We know.
I love cuddling. I love getting cuddled. Yeah, I love being cuddled. So I was like,
Nick, who was it that was like, don't be trying to sell me? Remember we talking about cuddling?
yeah,
Oh yeah. Listen,
right,
I love to
right.
cuddle too. There's nothing in the world like watching a good movie, just cuddling and just
Yep.
yeah, that's I love it.
Love
I
it.
mean, there's
Exactly. That's what I
nothing
was like,
wrong
oh,
with
that
that.
makes sense. And he was like, actually, I really don't even have to have sex with them most of the time. They want me to, act like their boyfriend. And I was like, fascinating.
Okay. All right. Well, let me get my male's medical moments out the way real quick because we're coming to a close. All right. Listen, the benefits of cuddling. It eases stress, help your heart, relieves pain, fights colds. And I've always told you guys I need to boost your immune system. It connects you to your partner. So the cuddling is a more intimate than sex. How about that?
Just like farting when we talked about farting.
It helps you sleep and it's just all around good for your health. Give somebody a hug. They might need it. But be careful, don't hug them too long because whatever energy
Monkeypox.
might jump on you. You already know I'm gonna say that about protecting your energy. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Up there with that 12 o'clock siren. I want to also let the guys know with COVID. We know COVID is going to be around. So this upcoming school year, they are pretty much having a test. Like if you test positive, and they had a little saying that they were saying, but you want to test the person more frequently. If let's say like a student comes up positive or something like that. So they're not sending people home. That's what they're looking at right now. And this is from the CDC. So you guys go ahead and read that information. It is out there. And for this upcoming school year, because I hear a lot of people, say, I got COVID again, and I got both vaccines, and I got the booster, and I still have it. COVID is going to be around for a little bit. So again, the schools this year, CDC is saying, kind of, just relax a little bit because they're relaxing some of the standards that they had before with COVID. Go ahead. What you got?
I have a question for you.
I got to end, but go ahead. Is it
monkeypox? Has the CDC made it anything about? I mean, I know it's just wash your hands, stay away from people, don't touch stuff. But as far as the spread of monkeypox,
droplets as well. Droplets, you can get it from droplets too. People yawn and that spray come out. Yeah, that's what I can't remember which doctor that was, but as things develop, I'll definitely give you the information on that. It's wash your hands. I seen somebody yesterday out and they had gloves on, and I get it because you're afraid. But what they're noticing with monkeypox that's popular is that they get it, and they were saying before because it's just new to the United States. They were saying that they start on your face and then kind of spread on other parts of the body. But what they have seen, now let's be clear, what they have seen, and this is why they say that it's with the gay community, or gay community, bisexual. And it really annoyed me because I want to say 2 weeks ago, they found that there was a baby and a toddler who had it. So you can't just say it's just spread through gay men, but what they have seen is that's the majority of the people who have been actually diagnosed with it. They have a few cases. I think it's 100 cases in Ohio right now. But the thing is this, people, just wash your hands. That's our first line of defense. You know what I'm saying? If you want to wear your mask, wear your mask. And like I told you guys, with COVID, it's going to be around for a while. And I was thinking that at the beginning because Amber and Nick, remember I was telling you, I said, oh, this is probably how the flu was when it first came, influenza.
Right.
And the different strands and all that other stuff. So just stay safe, people. Just stay safe. Stay safe. There we go. Just stay safe. Now, wash your hands. I'm going to tell you that with soap and water. That's the key. Hand sanitizer, it will dry your skin out. Be careful. And there's a lot of ingredients in these, sanitizers out here that you may be allergic to. So just be careful with that as well. Okay. And that's all I got for you. So the monkeypox, listen, it doesn't look appealing. And I've, read some comments where people were like, yeah, being sick is one thing, being sick with like HIV and like the COVID, you don't want to die, but you have the people on social media that say they don't want to look ugly. So remember the chicken pox?
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah,
Are
so
those monkeypox scars?
Yes, it will. So you have to watch scratching because it can leave scars. And like I said, it starts on the face. So when you see it all around the mouth. And another thing too, they're classifying it as a STD as well. Hear me. I'm not saying, oh, it's just an STD. You can get it by having sex. It can be sexually transmitted. I.e., like I couldn't understand when COVID, people are having sex with masks. I was
We're still exchanging body fluids, fools.
Exactly. So when you look at it, you be like, oh, that's not the way babies are getting it. They're not having sex. No, chicken pox, herpes, all of that. So when you have your outbreak, exactly what Nyk said, you're exchanging body fluids. So it will be under STDs as well, because it's, you know, if you have sex and you got a lesion on your penis, it can happen. Let's say, because they were saying that, you know, a lot of the people, if you read up, you guys can see this information and get it for yourself, where it's like they'll see pops on the anus area, the anal area. So if you are into that, you can potentially get it. It's contact. Okay. All right. We don't have no sound effects today that I usually have. So, lovely people, y'all know what it is. Give it up. I thank you for coming on. Miss AmberDee, the analyst, gave it to us about sugar babies and sugaring. Lovely people, sugar babies and sugaring. You taught me some stuff.
Exactly. I learned a bunch of stuff. It was a great subject to research. It was great. But bye guys. See you later. All right, and you lovely people know, y'all know Nyk the Voice. Nyk the Voice was quiet today, though.
I was learning some stuff today. That's something I never would have even thought about researching, cared about nothing, but
that's what we do. We out here in these streets, keeping the people informed. Okay. Exactly. Nyk, don't tell me you over there rethinking your occupation.
I told you I got a business I'm trying to start sooner or later. I just need a benefactor or sponsor. And we ain't gonna be business partners. Let me get that straight right now. No business partners. I'm in this business alone.
Yeah, okay.
If I was going to have a potential business partner, it was, but nah, in me. So
okay, it's on you,
I just need a sponsor, benefactor, or something.
You got to do that on your own time. I can't do that. Look at her taking an opportunist, but I ain't mad at you, girl. So give it up to Nyk the Voice. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
All right, lovely people. I hope you enjoyed today's show. I know I did. I learned a lot. Definitely did that. So I thank you guys for tuning in, and I want to give you today's footnote. If you heard Amber, because I did, Amber said she is a ride or die friend. Now, well, a rider type of friend, even against her own better judgment. I'm going to tell you this, lovely people. If you know something is going to go left, tell them to drop you off at the corner. Okay, that's today's footnote. I want you guys to stay safe. And remember, love is what you make it. And try to cuddle if you can. Hug somebody. It boosts the immune system. But wait, make sure they ain't got the monkeypox. All right, before you go hugging them, because contact. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I thoroughly enjoyed you, as I do each and every single Saturday. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube. Get your girl monetized, okay? That's what I'm trying to get, okay? I'm trying to get paid up in here. If you would like to donate to the show, just being kind, sharing the love, feel free to do so. That information is below. All right. Find you, embrace you, most importantly, always, always love you. And until next week, people, you know what it is. Shop Talk every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. See you next week.